just wanted to end this session by going through, it has my some, going through some of the recommendations that we have. And this is based off of the study and also our experience with our customers. So it's a combination of results of the study and best practices that we have seen as well. So let's start off with cybersecurity as Mary Jo said, using it as a baseline, not just to counter cyber attacks, but also to make sure that we use it in order to transform our various organizations. Digital transformation is something that is really top of mind as far as a number of more forward-looking companies are concerned, because it's a very competitive industry, whatever industry you're in. Globalization has brought about demands in innovation. Companies need to innovate, need to be more competitive, and that's where digital transformation comes in. However, if you do not factor in cybersecurity, then you're actually exposing yourself to a lot of risks. The next one is with regards to investing in fundamentals. When Lito and Ina were talking about it, they talked about security protocols that you use, whether it's using passwords. Right now, it's multi-factor authentication or even biometrics. Things like this should be accompanied not just by constant practice, but also making sure that you have appropriate policies in place in your organizations. A number of instances, what we have seen is that people fail to see the importance of having a robust either password or authentication method in their companies. So make sure that you always keep that in mind. Kalimutan na po natin yung birthdays, kung ano man yung anniversary and so on. Maximize the tools. Always keep in mind that you should prioritize. One of the key things that we saw in the study is the fact that more doesn't mean better, right? The more solutions you have doesn't mean you're more secure. So think about prioritizing. Think of what's the best as far as the different options that you currently have, and make sure that your people are trained to utilize those tools, because the best tool is useless unless the people actually know how to use it and actually use it. Continuous compliance. With assessment and review, you are well aware of what's happening in your various environments. We need to understand whether there are threats and how we can prevent those threats from actually coming to fruition, but also making sure that we comply with certain obligations. One of the things that Lito had mentioned is the fact that privacy is actually top of mind as far as a number of companies are concerned. And with privacy, there are a number of compliance obligations that we also have. With the right tools, you can actually have a more compliant working environment. Lastly, look at AI. Because of the number of threats and the amount of data that needs to be analyzed, harnessing the power of AI gives you an edge. That edge is the fact that you do not need so many people in order to analyze data. AI does that for you, it identifies the threat for you. So hopefully you can leverage AI and use automation to actually increase capacity and focus on whatever your core business is. Next, we want to make sure that we also impart how we see the landscape from a cybersecurity perspective. When you talk about Microsoft solutions, you talk about intelligence that's sitting on a very secure platform. That's on top of what our partners' solutions actually offer. So if you have a partner solution that's top of suite, and that sits on a platform that's very secure, with intelligence being applied to identify certain threats, then you have a very robust system within your organization. Lastly, I just want to talk about certain numbers. There are 400 emails that are analyzed within Microsoft. You have 1.2 billion devices being scanned. Mary Jo partly talked about what we are doing with the digital crime shooter. That's one of the vectors that are being considered. What we get, the information we get from those devices actually feed into our system, and we utilize intelligence to analyze those things. Lastly, we talked about 200 plus global cloud consumer and commercial services. So these are things that we actually harness, we actually use. For those of you who don't realize this or don't know this, Microsoft actually spends an average of $1 billion per year just on cybersecurity alone. So that's how dedicated we are to providing you a safe computing environment. So hopefully with that, you can trust the offerings of Microsoft, trust the cloud itself, and make sure that you always keep cybersecurity in mind. So now we move on to the Q&A.
Yes, thank you, attorney. So let me call on